Tell them say you there. Tell them say you there. Tell you never, tell them say you there. Tell them say you there. Yeah, we dey send them go down. 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 Tell them say you there. Tell them say you there. Tell you never, tell them say you there. Tell them say you there. We dey send them go down. 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 Enjoy me there. Look, Mami Talabi, Mbappé, Charlie. Hey, Oju, see Bono Oju, Mari Oju. Today I go do. Monday I see in a bad do. Oh.
All right.
Bad do. Tell them say you there. Tell you never, tell them say you there. Tell you never, tell them say you there. Tell them say you there. Yeah, we dey send them go down. Tell them, we dey send them go down. Yeah, we dey send them go down. Send them, we dey send them go down.
The sound sensation come from the nation.
Kpakio, doing dancing and they go down low. All my men chatty, they rocky, yeah. I need you there, Stabby again, Minister out there. Who's inside there? They go make you enjoy the music, tell you yeah. Tell them say you there. Tell you never, tell them say you there. Tell you never, tell them say you there. Tell them say you there.
You send them go down. You send them go down.
Send them go down. Send them go down.
Liberia.
That's Monday, right? Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, no problem. Thanks for calling then. Yeah, thank you. All right.
About you and me, if we got together, children of this land,
I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's about 4 minutes to 2 o'clock here in the United Kingdom. And today is what? Tuesday, the 5th of March, 2019. It's great to be here. This is the program, Profile Liberia. Our expected guest on the show today will be the chief spokesman of the Liberian National Police, Moses Never Walk Alone Carter, and of course, one of Liberia's funniest female journalists in Liberia, and also working for FrontPage Africa. That's Bettie Mbayo. Of course, before the end of the show, we'll be bringing you the breaking news about a new travel ban list on Liberia. Who is in it? We'll let you know just before the end of the show. So welcome. In the next 3 minutes or so, we're hoping to get our first guest, Moses Never Walk Alone Carter, chief spokesman of the Liberian National Police. I'll be talking about the LMP. Stick and stay with us. Thank you so much, especially for those of you that are sharing the video. I appreciate you very much. But let's go to Nigeria now and get this one here. The title of it is Flock Politicians. Yeah, so what before the end of the show, we'll bring you that breaking news I posted about the new travel ban list on Liberia. Who is in it? Stick and stay with us, Moses Carter will soon be in studio with us by the grace of God. And then from there we'll go to Bettie Mbayo of FrontPage Africa. Flock Politician, this is one from Nigeria. Let me say exclusively, for my boss, proprietor, CEO, owner of Boss Media Company, Christabel Leonard. Thank you for joining in. Boss Media Radio, Boss Media TV. Alright, let me take you to Russia this morning small for you to see what happened there this morning. In fact, it's still going on in Russia. The opposition spoke to the opposition. Actually, brought the citizens outside, and they decided that the government is not going the right way. Opposition hold a rally asking for fresh parliamentary election. They got in the street. They say the administration is too corrupt, so they are in the street. And this morning I was with them live, and this is how things were, courtesy of RT. That's Russia TV. Let me just show you a little bit of it. So this is it. The multitude of people. These are the people that go outside, and they are asking their government to have a first election, right? Sorry, not Russia, Albania. Sorry, Albania. Sorry, Albania. You see, the government in power is too corrupt, so they decided the opposition rally citizens in Albania, and they came out, and they are still out as we speak, accusing the government of corruption, and also calling for fresh parliamentary elections in Albania. So this is how the situation looks like there right now. So citizens do have the right. Citizens do have the right across the world to speak out and question governments, their own governments, respect to how they are running things. So let's see. Let's go back to this. Let's go back to Nigeria, to Lagos, with this one here, flop politicians, and while we try to get in touch with our studio guests. Yes, even 419 want to be president. I want to be a lawmaker. Yes, that's why King in Africa. Welcome to the show, Profile Liberia. Still waiting for our studio guest and Moses Carter to join us. LRB time, right? Beautiful music there. We flop politicians. I don't know really. A beautiful one here, but let me say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, wherever you are, and welcome to the program Profile Liberia. Actually, we are still trying to get hold of my studio guests, including the chief spokesman of the Liberian National Police, Moses Never Walk Alone Carter, and one of Liberia's funniest journalists, Bettie Mbayo of the FrontPage Africa. Today I'm supposed to take them one after another. Moses is supposed to come on first, but unfortunately we can't see Moses. He's not. That's part of our agreement, and everything was set. We can't get him right now, so we're trying to see where we can get our second guest, Bettie Mbayo of the FrontPage Africa. But before I go further, let me make our contribution. All of the platforms that we run here, the Max Kpakio talk show, the Profile Liberia, and the print news review. We want to take this time to, as concerned citizens as well, we want to take this time to express our sympathy and deepest regret to Joy FM, Joy TV in Monrovia, Liberia, right there on Newport Street, for what happened to them this morning, according to information, which led to their station being down as we speak. Our understanding is that their station was attacked early this morning, somewhere after 1 a.m. And unfortunately for them, due to the attack, their transmitter or cables leading to the transmitter were damaged, and that led to them being off the air today. And so we want to join other good meaning or patriotic citizens of Liberia that came out already and condemned such act. We want to join you by adding our voices there as well, to say we condemn this act and all how we can describe it as barbaric. It is unpatriotic, it is unrealistic, and whoever did this must be ashamed of themselves. This is a private radio station. Somebody thought it wise, Mr. Emmanuel Dan thought it wise, that there is a need for people to be informed. There is a need for educational programs to be on the radio. That there is a need to even start to train our little children who perhaps may have interest in the area at the early stage, which I participated this gone December. He told it wise that there is a need to be self-employed, that there is a need to also employ Liberians so that they can also contribute to the economy of Liberia. And this brother and his family, they thought that this is the area they are interested in, and they went into radio and brought about Joy FM. And so for any citizen of that matter to go under the cover of darkness with a black heart and destroy such initiative, to take away food from the people's mouth. Those guys that were employed there are Liberians, that are employed there are Liberians as well. They get their daily bread from there. Whatever they get from there, they send their children to school. They share with other friends and family members. And then somebody is having the guts to go and destroy such a thing, such an initiative. So we condemn this in the strongest, very, very strongest manner. And all we want to do now is to call on, as we have written officially to the Ministry of Justice, a speedy, very, very speedy investigation into this matter. And all of those that are still hanging as well, including the other 2 radio stations, Roots FM and another radio station. This isn't what we expect to be happening in our land. No, it isn't right. You have citizens, some of us like us that are in the diaspora who are thinking that we want to go and set up whatever we need to set up to actually help our community. When these are going on, it will make us afraid. When the international community, when people that have money and they're looking for areas, they're looking for countries to go in to go invest. When we having the technology is now booming, technology all over is now booming, and people are now thinking about going from one African country to another to go and build radio stations, to go and establish TV stations. When they are thinking of going to establish computer network, station, and they are hearing such a story, how would they feel about us? How would they feel about the country? You are denying a bread on the table for majority of Liberian people when you're doing this. And this is why I still want to call on President George Weah. You don't need to be silent on these kind of happenings. No, don't leave it with the Ministry of Information. Do not leave it with them. As a leader, these are issues that you have to come up and speak and stand against the family, so that those that are listening, Liberian, all of us that are listening, we will take it serious that our leader isn't happy with what is happening. You got to speak, Mr. Weah. You got to speak. You are the leader of this nation. Yes, you took the gavel of authority about a year ago now. You can't continue to remain silent. I live in a world where if one woman is harassed, if one child is stopped in the street here in the UK, the government will release a position statement. Yes, press will go to the Prime Minister and ask her questions, and she will have to address it. She will go in the House of Parliament and in the House of Commons and stand there and talk and raise her voice and say this is not good to be happening in our society. We are going to do something about it. We're going to give extra support to the Liberian National Police. We are going to give them extra logistical needs also, and so that can beef up their movements. But when you sit and you keep silent, when you sit, you are not saying anything. Mr. Weah, this is not right. This country is your country. This country, you say the people of Liberia, yes, loves you. And that was proven. We saw it. The international community saw it. Irrespective of whatever we feel or how Some of us felt also. The fact of the matter that you are now president, you are the president of the Republic of Liberia. No longer that presidential candidate. No longer that standard bearer of the CDC. You are the president, head of state, commander-in-chief. These are issues that concerns us, all of us, or that should concern all of us. We will get worried. Some of us that did international relations and politics, we will get worried because we know without international connection, a government cannot function well. No. We know that without foreign relations working perfectly, without foreign connection working perfectly, you can't move forward and develop your country. You have to have friends out there. I'm talking about friends that can come to your aid at any time. But you have to create the atmosphere. The atmosphere got to be conducive for the people to come. But when they are hearing about such a thing, we are not already a developed country. We are not. So when people are hearing this kind of news, oh yes, another media house is under attack. Oh yes, there's a body found that way. Oh yeah, there's another body found that way. There's no, we have no idea as to how this person died or so. When they hear these news are not good news for us as a nation. But when we talk and some people trying, or some of us trying to educate fellow Liberians, they feel that we are against. But I'm talking, they feel that I'm against Mr. Weah. I am not. My stake is Liberia. My heart is Liberia. This is why I don't spend more than 9 months without going to Liberia. No. Since 2010, I go to Liberia twice. This time around, I'm going to Liberia 3 times since 2015. I don't just go there. I don't just get on a plane to go there and go bluff. No. I go and give back to my community. Because the atmosphere is okay. That when I'm moving around, when I get in the car and I get some stuff in my car, that I'm going to this hospital to give something out to the newborn baby mothers. That I'm going to this orphanage home to go give them small ration or so. I should have the feeling, I should have the feeling that I am well safe, that I am safe in my country. I shouldn't be walking and be looking over my shoulder. No, that shouldn't be. I shouldn't feel that way. I shouldn't feel insecure. You know how many Liberians now in the diaspora that we've been talking since yesterday, and some of them say, well, I was planning to go to Liberia to go and do some sort of assessment for business setup. But I'm going to give you another thought again. You get 1 or 2, 3 people like that, they're stepping aside. You know what's happening? Your country is going down. It's going down. There are others who are thinking about right now trying to go to Liberia to go and set up TV station. I was talking to a gentleman the last time in Sierra Leone who is now, I mean, his industry is growing now. His idea is to have television stations across Africa. And the last time he told me he's having interest in Liberia also. And you're thinking about going to do feasibility study. But the very institution that he will be working with as partners that are owned by Liberians are being attacked. How will he feel as a Sierra Leonean that want to go invest in Liberia? If that man happened to go and open that television television station in Liberia. You know how many Liberians will be employed in that place? You know how many Liberians will be putting food and sending their children at least to school? We got to create the atmosphere. This is wrong. And we want to challenge the president. We want to call on the president. You must speak out. There's too much ills in our society. You can't continue to keep silent, Mr. President. Speak on those issues. Condemn them openly. Don't leave it with the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, so-called. Let me refer to them that way. Don't leave it with them. Don't leave it with a mere press release. And the LBC will just read it over and over and over and over. No. As a head of state, as a leader of the nation, when you speak, when your people hear your voice on issues, they take it serious. They take it serious. That's why even the issue of rape, we're talking about it. The issue of this establishment calling, Liberians are calling for the establishment of war and economic crimes code for Liberia. And of course, the full implementation of the TRC recommendations. And all we got is a question mark. You want development or you want war crime courts? This is not right for our country. The international community, they have their satellite over us. Yes, country by country, they are watching us every day. When will we move forward? After all of these years, yes, after 12 years, we didn't see ourselves much lifted up to the extent that we wanted. After all of the support from the international community, money was coming in. We didn't get it. Look at our iconic building today. Where is the presidential seat of our leaders? The executive mansion. How many years up to now? The renovation is still ongoing. It can't finish. And somebody is telling me that they are patriotic citizens, that they care, they have concerns for this nation. And the president, this is the second president, 2 terms President Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and Mr. Buya right now are still displaced. They are still displaced, sharing the building with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Yes, I will tell you, because I asked most of them during the campaign, during the so-called presidential debate or so, candidate debates or so. Some of them, I asked them about if they win the election as to where they will have their first cabinet meeting. Is it the main executive building or the annexed, which is where the displacement is? I remember asking the former VP, and he busted with laughter. Because perhaps I referred to the building as the annexed of the executive mansion, the main executive mansion. I don't refer to it as an executive mansion. Where the president's office is, at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Because when we refer to it as the executive mansion, then the Foreign Affairs Ministry is kicking out of there by virtue of a location and an address. And this is it. To be displaced, it isn't good. To be displaced is not good. So, Mr. President, I mean, please help us before the end of this first term. We want you to go back to the executive mansion. The iconic building. Beautiful building. It has a true representation of our country, being the oldest republic. At least if we don't have many, but that building is so beautiful, and I love it. I went in there several times during the days of former President Charles Taylor. It's a beautiful building. And somebody would take 2 terms, money coming in, budget being raised here time after time, and up to now, we still see things hanging up there that people are working to bring the building up to the standard it was. You know why is it that way, Mr. President? It is because of corruption. That building is taking long time. The executive mansion is taking long time to be completed because of corruption. And every time and then we continue to raise budget for it as a nation. Budget to renovate it. And you people are still feeling happy to be displaced and running a government in a displaced camp. Running a government in a displaced camp, which is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Priority. Perhaps, oh yes, it was in my shoe. Not the major priority, but at least it would have been, or maybe on the list of between number 1 and number 4. That I will do that building as quickly as possible, raise the budget as quickly as possible, and complete the renovation. Revisit, the contract, who is doing what, what has been spent so far, and then revisit and see. And then say, okay, look, you know what, give you a mandate now. I want this building to be finished. In 9 months time, I want this building. I want to move in there. I am displaced. As the president of Liberia, I am displaced. I want to move inside the executive mansion and work within there. That's what I wanted to hear from the president. But nobody cares. Madam Ellen didn't care about it. Our lawmaker didn't care to push it. They're happy. They're sitting down in their building that doesn't even have toilets. But they're happy. That they raise budget for everything, but we don't see anything happening. You go to the capital, the last thing you want to ask for, can I use the toilet? That's the last thing you want to ask for. The next thing they will tell you, we don't have water. If we get $10 or $15 or so, we can send for water. Come on, man. And we say we have people who love this nation. And this morning, this afternoon, they're sitting there, they say they're debating on how they call dual citizenship. And some of them opening their books and everything and saying we don't want it, this and that. We're yet to get any of our studio guests or so that's why I'm throwing in some words here, just in case we can keep an eye on my dashboard to see them coming in. But these are some of the issues we have to keep raising. And another issue that I want to talk on is about the death of Mr. Ennis. Liberia, Liberian fellow Liberians, especially those of you that are on the ground, we need to work hard for this nation. Not a good trend where it is heading. I'm not going to break the other news that somebody told me this morning. But things are not encouraging. It is the same way about this guy's death. It was called very early in the morning. And somebody told me, Max, this is what happened. And the exact story the person told me. That's just how it ended up coming again. Hit and run. But tomorrow we will be talking to some criminologists on the issue. But we just want to announce here and to identify with the family. But we want to wish you all our heartfelt condolences. It is hard. You have a breadwinner in the family working at that Central Bank of Liberia. Such responsibility is not easy in Africa. You are not only responsible for your wife and your children. You are not only responsible for your mother or your father. The responsibility goes beyond to friends, those that you went to school together, to friends, those that met you somewhere in a training or so. The responsibility goes beyond. And the moment you get that pay, and somebody comes around or so, or even if the pay is not around, but you get to meet some friends and say, it's tough today. We haven't eaten for 2 days, 3 days now, my family. And that individual go into their pocket and give something. It means a whole lot. To snatch that individual from the people, to snatch that individual from the community, it is disheartening. Our hearts go to the Beres family. We are so sorry for the loss of Mr. Innes. But we want to call on the Liberian National Police. We want to call on the Ministry of Justice. Please, we want you to take a very decisive measures right now and launch an immediate investigation. You did yours. Your lapses are huge. In this particular case, your lapses are huge. We'll address those tomorrow. But the way the Liberian National Police handled this case, I can tell you, I'm not from the background of criminology, but from my little understanding of things and how I've been following things, even my 3 years with the diversity training unit here in the police here, I can tell you vividly that based on what we are hearing, if that is how you handle this case, this death case, it was very, very unprofessional. Let's see whether we can get in. Let me put the music on and see whether we can get. We're just seeing Betty now, and see whether we can reach out to Betty. It's about 36 minutes over the hour already. But let's see. Let's go to Syria. Let's go back to Nigeria. Flock politician. All right, I think we're getting some sign, little bit of sign coming. We just you can need to because you're trying to adjust the camera.
Yeah,
Therefore
I'm
you
trying
can
to
have.
adjust it and everything.
I'm not. Are you using Are you using a smartphone?
Yes. So just give me a
Okay.
few minutes
What
and get back to me, okay?
what I will do?
I'm
What
just
I will
trying
do
to
this time
adjust my
around?
camera. Okay.
Yeah, I think you just need to go down a little bit. That's it. But we're seeing you very, very good now. It just need to
Okay.
either if it is too close, you carry in front small, then it will bring you to the level. But it is good.
Okay, great. So
It is
just give me a
okay.
few time.
Why
That's
you want to
okay?
call? You want to call back?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. I will guess
Okay.
Betty is already trying to set up. We'll see what we can do. Actually, people like you, we need to give in some help. So this is what I mean. The issue of national security. National security is the responsibility of the leader of the country. That is why here in the United Kingdom, the moment something happened, even when flooding happened to take place here, the Prime Minister will call the Cobra meeting. Once you hear Prime Minister announce for Cobra meeting, all ministries, most of the major ministers will go to that meeting. Imagine flooding. The last time a high rise got burned and so many people died here, the Prime Minister had meetings several times. National issue. The stabbing that going on in our society here, especially in London. Young people are just killing themselves for one reason or another. They are not going by the Prime Minister is not going by the number. The moment they hear, the government hears about the death or a child has been stabbed or so, she will come up and say a few words. The city mayor will come and say words. Mr. President, Mr. Weir, the issue of the 3 radio stations, including the latest Joy FM, you got to come out and say a few words. Condemn it openly. Condemn it. And by the time you say, I have directed the Liberian National Police through the Ministry of Justice to investigate. You know how powerful that word is? Those ministers, the Inspector General isn't going to take it easy. When that child is raped and you hear about it on the radio or so, when you as a father, as a leader of the nation, when you come out, do not leave it with the Minister of Gender and Children Protection. No. Come out. One of these days, just come out and say a few words. Now, our government will not tolerate this kind of art in our society. When you are caught, this is what we are going to do. Maybe it used to be 5 years. Maybe it used to be 10 years. But in my government, we are going to work behind the scenes and see whether we can increase the sentence for those that will be found guilty of rape. Yes. We will be afraid, we the citizens, that when you steal, when you corrupt, you are corrupting the nation, you are cheating the children of Liberia, you are cheating the older people, you are cheating every segment of the society, that when you are caught, your punishment will be regrettable. when you come out as a leader, you utter these words. Yes, not only the citizen, but even those strangers, the strangers that are on your ground, having their petty store, they're having their stores, they're having their supermarkets, those that are in concession and they are mining also, they will have that sense of security. Wow, this president doesn't play. At least the president is speaking on the issues of ills in our society. But when you keep quiet, people will feel that it is good to do it. Yes, that is why Joy FM, the third radio station to be attacked. Yes. Because it's just a mere preference that the so-called, how do you call it? The Ministry of Information will just come out, the government condemn. They call government condemn this, we launch our investigation and thing. That is not enough. It isn't. You got to come out. I said, doctor, right? Yes. You got to come out. Condemn it with your words. Address the press. The press play a pivotal role in you becoming president. Even when you were playing football, that the press that even caused you to be more famous. Yes, they publish it. They sell it on television. They sell it on radio stations around the world. If they all stood aside and they say they don't want to even promote you, don't want to talk about you also, no matter how you play well or so, only within the team the people will value you. There's a similar thing as leaders. The leaders around the world, they depend on the press. Irrespective, there are some countries that even press, kind of difficult to work, but yet and still the government will still need the press. You can't. The people won't know what you're doing without the press. And these are your own citizens as well. They're not foreigners. Those guys are on the radio station, the television stations, and things, trying their best to contribute in the society, trying their best to put whatever little they can put in our national covers as well through the tax. They implore our brothers and our sisters. You know how many children now, how many young people or so are youth or whatever it is, because 45 years to say in Liberia they say they are youth. You know how many of them are still have graduated almost 5 years, 6, 7 years ago, they are still without a job. There are many. That's why when you go in Monrovia, you go to Ataye Center. Majority of them, majority of our brothers that you meet there, because in fact I can't say sisters, you had from women hanging around there. Majority of them are university, are first degree holders. BSc in this, BSc in that, BSc in this, BSc in that. No job. And so we converse, we look for a place at least to say we're going to get our stress up. Some of them will sit to those places from morning till about 4, 5, 6, and they start to walk to go back home. I feel for them. When I go and meet my friends there, my old schoolmates or so there, I feel for them. What are you doing now? I say, my man, nothing doing. I mean, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And then every year we put up graduates. Every year. I can say we put out graduates. So many of them. Sometimes it's because there is nothing to do. You just don't want to sit like that. So let me just be going on campus and be mixing with other people or so. And so we condemn the act on Joy FM. We condemn the act again on Roots FM. We still have Punch FM. Stay standing by. You can't get a license to operate. This is not right. When you grant that license to Punch FM, they are going to be employing Liberians. They will employ Liberians. It's now a charitable institution. Punch FM will be running as a private radio station. In that case, they will be paying taxes as an institution. In that case, they will employ Liberians, irrespective of how much they're going to be paying them. But the fact of the matter, Liberians will be employed, and when they take pay, they will share with their family people. Some of them will have the opportunity now to say, yes, my child can start the ABCs now. So I beckon you, Mr. Buya, talk to your people at the LTA to grant Punch FM a license to operate in Liberia. Please. And help us to keep our nation safe. Some of these issues you have to come out and say a few words, Mr. President. We know that you are very busy. You are very busy. But at the same time, some of these things, I mean, everything that is happening in the country, you know. I know that leaders do know what is going on. That is why in some other countries, the moment it happened, they will come out, the leader will come out and say a few words and issue out warnings, support, and make some pledges so that the nation can move forward. We are concerned. We are concerned. There should be nothing like mysterious death. Every death should have a reason. Yes. And the people should know about every death in the society. We all know Mr. Ennis. His death is mysterious. Mysterious. We demand an explanation. We demand an explanation. We are struggling as a country. The last thing we need, or the last thing we want to hear, is for investors to be scared away. The last thing I want to hear, for a Liberian to call and say, Max, I was really planning next year to move, to go and establish some kind of a business, to go and establish some kind of a, school or so. But I don't think I can make it again or so. That's the last thing some of us want to hear. We don't want to hear that. That's the last thing. The last thing we want to hear is that when somebody go out, they're afraid to move around. You need to take a step as a leader. Every bad thing that happens in the society, mostly it will come on your head. That is why you have to take the responsibility as a leader to lead with vision, to lead with openness. You don't sit there and you don't talk on issues. The people will feel those that are involved in it, those are having, that feel that it is good to actually murder somebody. They will feel that, yeah, it is good. My leader isn't talking about it. The government doesn't even care, or whatsoever it is. The way they will interpret, that's how they will continue to live with it. It's not fair that we should live in a society that we should be afraid of each other. It's not fair. The same way that right now in Liberia, people are afraid of each other right now. Even the ministers, those are in governments as well. They don't trust each other anymore. So even to keep conversation now is so difficult. Because the next thing somebody is recording you secretly. The next thing somebody is putting you on video secretly. There's no more trust. Nothing. A society is being killed by ignorant, by stupidity. This got to stop. All right, at least 10, 15, 20 minutes late. It's fine. But to late for 1 hour? Okay, maybe not possible, right? All right, 6 minutes to 3 o'clock. Meaning by 2 o'clock it will be 1 minute late. Very, 1 hour late, sorry. Well, I guess.
So many party for my country. PPE party, BDP party, awareness of GPT party. No politicians for the they do work for the no politicians. politicians, in the Naga we go flash them. We go for politicians, they do us. We go for politicians, in the Naga we go flash them. See the politicians, they do their sex like an edit, but the magicalities, now here we don't sort it. When they walk up, see they go up in their body, and the body go play this money country. For Nigeria, pastor won't be president. For Nigeria, commander won't be president. For Nigeria, elder won't be president. For Nigeria, lawyer won't be president. So many parties as if for my country. AFPPE party PDPE party Alliance of GPT party. We go for politicians, they do us. We go for politicians, in the Naga we go flash them. We go for politicians, they do us. We go for politicians, in the Naga we go flash them. Politicians, they know what you made they fight before they enter the game. They say you like a man, you think a man go back. I ain't a man they fight as he see them, so they don't know they jam. Politicians, want to use us again. Let them say we don't want that they cheap to say. Politicians, want to use us again. No one knows they don't use our life. We go for politicians, they do us. We go for politicians, in the Naga we go flash them. We go for politicians, they do us. We go for politicians, in the Naga we go flash them. For Nigeria, pastor won't be president. For Nigeria, commander won't be president. For Nigeria, elder won't be president. For Nigeria, lawyer won't be president. Our leader, politicians, they do us. We go for politicians, in the Naga we go flash them. We go for politicians, they do us. We go for politicians, in the Naga we go flash them.
All right, we do sincerely apologize. We find it very, very difficult to reconnect with our studio guests. She was on early, but then to reconnect now is so difficult. I don't know what's happening. All right, Liberia was not like this. I'm going to stop the music right now. Let's see what we can go straight to Liberia. Sorry, 2 o'clock right now in the United Kingdom. Oh, it's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in Liberia as well. So.
Good afternoon, Max. How are you? This is Betty.
Okay, good. Yeah. You okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
Well,
Just that your phone sounds very low for me.
right. Okay. Maybe I have to make my voice a little bit audible, or maybe you need to
please
tune
do.
your volume a little bit. All right. It's good to see you. How are you?
I'm okay. It's good that your viewers had to stay on for a long time.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to reconnect and connect because of the bad internet.
Yeah, I know. Well, we can't blame you because we should have had the chief spokesman of the Liberia National Police, Moses Carter, but unfortunately we didn't. We should have had him first before you, but unfortunately it's 1 hour now. We didn't get him, so it's okay. At least we can have you, and so we can talk for a few minutes, and then we can go. Well, Betty, it's great to have you on Profile Liberia. Once again, I think the last time we had you was sometime last year or so. People like you when we have you, on some of our platforms. So it's so difficult to actually start from somewhere, or you begin to wonder as to where to start from because you got a lot to share with us and things. But first of all, before we go further, for those that are actually seeing you for the first time and going to be hearing you for the first time, maybe just take a few seconds to tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, so that's it for what I've heard from you so far was how did the day go, right? And everything. But as I said, you have a bad line. So can you kindly play an interlude of music? Let me try and get a headphone.
For the benefit of those that are seeing you or going to be hearing you for the first time, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, my name is Betty. I'm a Liberian journalist. I'm a female, as you can see. Do I have a cut hair? But I'm a female, and I've been reporting for the past 8 years so far. I started my journalism career as a volunteer, and now I'm a journalist, an award-winning journalist at FrontPage Africa. I mostly focus on women articles and corruption, sex crimes, and so forth. Right? That's what I honors to.
Wow, yeah. That's huge portfolio, huge responsibility.
You see?
I said that's huge portfolio, huge responsibility as a journalist.
Yeah, but I can proudly say that no one is working at FrontPage Africa and does not have a very huge portfolio. Everyone who works at FrontPage Africa should have a very huge portfolio, and when you come in, what you do will also build up your portfolio.
What is it like to be a journalist, a female journalist in Liberia, in the midst of a field that full of men?
Well, firstly, you just have to maintain your integrity, maintain your respect. One, you work for an entity and know that every entity have its own policy and follow your ethics as a journalist. Don't involve in things that will bring your institution to public disrepute, and respect your family. You come from a family that some way somehow the way in which you were raised. So depending on that, what you do will directly reflect on your family as well.
Have you ever been treated, getting that preference because you are a lady when you go to maybe do certain investigation and
Okay?
go to? Have you?
That's not clear.
Have you ever been treated exclusively because you are a lady? If you go to maybe see that minister and you say you want that particular story, have you been given a preference just because you are a lady?
Well, let's say most cases I have urged women not to look at their sex and gender and feel that they have to do this. One thing I can tell a female journalist is that don't always think that the male should be dominant over what you do. Some way, somehow, see how you can get the story first. See how your institution can respect you for who you are. See how you can be seen as a role model. So, for me, many people don't even consider me as a female journalist because the first thing is that they describe me as a male journalist, but then they ask why am I married, whether I have family, and so forth. But that's it. I said you firstly have to know what you want as an individual, and your life can move forward.
I mean, looking at it, it's still the field itself, the industry itself, let me put it that way as well, is still a dominant force controlled by men. In the context of Liberia, what is it like, a relationship between you guys that work in the field with the rest of the males? How is it? Is it cordial, or are men still, well, maybe somehow looking down to women?
So let's say, are you asking on the working relationship between a male and a female, the way I work?
Yeah, no,
That's it?
generally,
Okay,
when you guys are
So
together.
let's say the last press conference that was held by Councillor James Freder, we had like 7 males, and I was the only female there, right? So the entire how you call it, invitees were like, why are you always among the men? Why are you always among the men? But then, as I said from the start, you firstly have to look at what do you want, what is your passion, and how can you make this passion work, and that's it. You know, that's it. You must know what you need. You must know what can you do within your life that people should see you as a role model. So most of the times I've considered myself, yes, I'm a female, but which of course that cannot stop me from crossing some borders. That cannot stop me from getting some articles that I think gonna make a change in society, because we as journalists, we report for change in society, change within the public space. And that's why I don't look at just female, male, no. I don't look at sex or gender on the way in which I report. It's just that I'm concerned on how female journalists can have a safer space of reporting their articles. But first thing, they shouldn't have it on their mind that since they are female, they should have that space. They themselves have to push their way through. They themselves have to, mako and get their way through. Mako, I mean professionally.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna borrow that. I'm gonna borrow that terminology, mango. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Maybe some of my viewers will come back and ask me what is the meaning of that. I would try to tell them. Now, let's look at the future itself. I don't know. I'm not on the ground that much in terms of knowing or seeing female journalists on the ground. What is it like? You think in the next 5 years, in the next 3 years, we'll have more female journalists, or you think it's still going to be something challenging for women to get in the field?
Well, as I said previously, I think that females should push themselves through, wherein they shouldn't just be men newscasters. Yes, news anchors are journalists, but for that side, you're going to consider them as news anchors, right? But what I do is that I feel that when you form a part of a team, when you get into the field and get into people's stories, get into what people have to say to you. You know, when you are reading such story on radio or on TV or wherever you are reading it, you will feel that you are part of it. And that's it. I feel that, yes, in the next 10, 11 years, we're going to have more female journalists, but then they themselves have to push their way through.
Now, I mean, being a journalist is one thing, but then choosing the career, like where you're coming from, choosing the area that you want to go is another thing. When we look in Liberia, we see there are female journalists, but most of them are Indo female journalists, which you just touch on a little bit. That is, they're behind the scene, they're behind the microphone, and just on the radio. So majority of them. Why do you think, or is there any reason that you can think why is it that females are not actually venturing into print news? Is it because what?
Well,
Choice?
for that, I would say that I started my career as a broadcast journalist, and I also did broadcast journalism in UMU, right? But then when I feel that where I was, it wasn't where I should have been. Yes, I was doing a video editing, the audio editing. I was writing scripts, but then what I thought was that writing news angles, going on the field, getting the stories, and sitting, transcribing what was exactly said, and you saying it in your own word for the public to see it that way. I feel that this is what journalism is about. But the word journalism have several, and segments, right? Yes, they have electronic and print. Why am I in print? It's because I feel that my space wasn't created, my space wasn't given to me, no matter how I tried in getting my way through while I was in broadcast. So I decided to move on to print and see, since I'm a regular script writer in this broadcast area, let me see how I can make my story from an inverted pyramid instead of, which of course, when you say inverted pyramid, is only for journalists to understand. So when you leave broadcast and go to print, which of course that's a whole new knowledge, right? That's a whole new sector you have dropped into. You firstly have to know that this is not just 3 paragraphs or 5 paragraphs or 2 paragraphs and just a cue in and a cue out, and you play, what's the word? An audio for someone to just talk. But this is something that you have to transcribe yourself and manage in explaining how the public can read it and vividly know that you were on this scene or you attended this program. So writing for broadcast and print are two different things. And why females find themselves in broadcast, I won't really say that they want to be lazy, as many people say it, but I will bluntly say that, well, that's where they want to find themselves, and I can't compel them to find themselves in print. Yes, I'm in print. I'm also doing some scripts for other international outlets who are broadcast, but then I love print, and that's why I'm in print. And I'm sure they too love broadcasts. That's why they are there. So I can't compare them, say manage, leave broadcast and get to print, or leave print and go to broadcast.
Well, and I know definitely that you can be able to count how many female journalists who are doing print in Liberia, writing for newspaper, as compared to you being able to count how many female journalists are behind the microphone.
You said? I just said, didn't hear you.
No, I'm saying, I just re-echoing that. I say I know by virtue of the volume of female journalists in the print news. I know definitely if I ask you for the number, you'll be able to give me a number. But if I ask you for maybe the number of those that are behind the microphones, because there are so many, you won't be able to give it to me, isn't it?
Well, like most of the times you find out that females come within the journalism career or profession through the microphone, and the way in which they carry themselves on air, the way in which they present themselves. And as time goes by, they sometimes find where they are to be, right? So I can inform you that where they want to be, that's where they are. That's where they are. We have some print journalists like me, Azanko, like Winnie Sewa, Jimmy, John J. Campbell. But then we only encourage, we as print journalists to also encourage other female journalists to transcribe in print, transcend to print, leave broadcast and come to print. But what is their strength? What is their strength? Where are they strong? For me, I'm not strong in reports. I can tell anybody talking said that one I'm an error. I once in a while, and I'm my error on my pen and my paper. That's it. So everybody got their error.
I want people scared of you. Because the pen is much the pen is much here. Let me take you out of the box a little bit, Betty. Let me bring you into your own profession now. With respect to stories that you normally cover, it has to do with human interest stories as well. Where are we now in terms of rape issue in Liberia? Having read something of that nature from you guys of late for a little while now. And what is the news about little Regina? Is the story being buried?
Well, for that case, June 1 gonna make it 2 years.
Yes.
Since the government of Liberia regularly say they are investigating, and what is it now? Which of course they have not said anything. I vividly recall my trip to Addis Ababa when I spoke with the current gender minister who promised to investigate. She's gonna review the case file and see where there are lapses and where she can, fill in and so forth. But then, as we speak right now, there's absolutely nothing. And at the same time, the court, especially the Ministry of Justice, they are somehow reluctant in going further with the case. Why are they reluctant? I don't know. Firstly, the main thing is that you really don't need the victim to forward the case, but some way, somehow you do need her, which of course that's not compulsory. But now we don't know whether she's alive or not, because the Ministry of Justice is supposed to see the Ministry of Justice, the Ministry of Gender, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, because that's a traditional thing, which of course they as the government within a whole supposed to partner and see how this child can be found. But as we speak currently, we don't know where's the child. We know that Morales really filed a motion to scratch the case off the court, meaning to just dismiss it since they cannot see a survivor, which of course will serve as a witness. So for now, as we speak, since that motion was filed last year, that motion is still in the court. Where is the victim? Where is the survivor and her baby? We don't know. We got no idea, because the Ministry of Gender, the Ministry of Justice, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the government have somehow failed her.
So generally, are we a bit happy in terms of rape cases not being reported, or is it still going on?
Well, the last line that I almost do was whether there are still rape cases coming up. That's it. Yes, on a regular basis. But then, as I speak to you, I have like, excuse me, I have a whole bundle. I have a file full on my desk. I don't know whether it's good that I show some of them, but that of course will be my stuff anyway. But every day you find that 2 or 3 kids are raped by an elderly man, specifically someone who is even closer to those kids. And what is the Ministry of Gender doing with them? Currently, as we speak, those within the counties, those gender coordinators, which of course I can say bluntly that they are not even accessible to those areas that those survivors or victims are seen in. It's because all of their cars were seized by the current gender minister. What are those cars doing at the Ministry of Gender? Which of course they have not said anything. They have not said anything. So rape within the rural areas for now, we are not yet where we're not hear nothing concerning it. It's because those gender coordinators are not accessible to those areas, those crime scenes, you know? Because somewhere, somehow, when you receive a telephone call and say, oh, my child was raped, you expect a gender coordinator to come on the scene and see what's the gravity of this and how can we take this kid or kids to a stop-shop area where she can firstly be treated to know whether it's true that she was abused. But now, all of the cars, all of the motorbikes are all parked at the Ministry of Gender for like 6 months now. So when you call a gender coordinator, the only thing you just hear say, oh, we received a call from this town that 2 children were raped. Now all we can say to you, but we can't inform you why they were raped and whether we found this suspect.
Now, Betty, for some of the kids,
every day there is a rape case. Every day in Liberia, some child, some families, some minor is being abused. Every day.
Now, for some of the cases you've been dealing with, whether in the past or current, what is the support mechanism like for victims, even if the perpetrator is not caught or so? Is there any support mechanism in place from the central government to actually help the victims to get them through it, whether it's counseling, whether it's helping through hospital needs or so? What is it like?
Well, within tackling rape, what's the word? A holistic approach, right? You need victims, families, survivors, families. You need the perpetrator families as well. You need the Ministry of Justice, the Ministry of Gender, the CSOs, the lawyers, and so forth. But many a times we face the issue of victims' family compromising somewhere, somehow, which of course that will be because the family of the perpetrator is linked to this family who child is abused. So within that scene, you find out that we don't want to go forward with this because it will create bad feelings. So maybe sometimes the both family may come from the same tribe. And let's just assume far, right? Within a scene, as long they start to speak their vernacular, it's over. You won't have the victim, especially when she's of age and she can explain what exactly happened. You won't have that victim saying anything. You won't also have the victim family encouraging her to explain. You won't have, nothing. You're just going to be stuck. And that case file will just be on your desk for as long as it can. And maybe when you have another case, you're just going to take this new case file and put it over your old case files. That's it. But tackling rape issue, which of course is a whole holistic approach. It's a whole holistic approach. You need everybody on deck. You just need everybody. But if like 3 of the 5 parties fail to regularly inform you on what occurred, I'm sorry, you won't have anything. You will just be stuck.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, her name is Bettie Mbayo. She's one of Liberia's funniest female journalists working for the FrontPage Africa, and she covers a whole lot of areas in terms of covering news, bringing those stories to us that we have to know about. Those of you, especially those of you that follow online as well, living in the diaspora, anytime you're reading a story, just check for the writer also. You'll see her name there. Bettie, let's come to the ongoing development. Your newspaper is one of those newspapers that actually been reporting about the quote-unquote missing money in Liberia. Now we are where we are now. Personally, as a concerned citizen, is that what is this what you were anticipating, even when you were writing on corruption about this story and asking questions and wanting to bring people to justice also? Is this what you were expecting? The report, are you going to lay your pen down on corruption now as far as this story is concerned?
Okay, so let's say with that, as a journalist, never had an expectation. Yes, I'm a citizen of Liberia, but then I cannot overly take my feelings over and how the public, especially those who voted and me and those who went into queues to vote, whether how they feel about this is what I can say, but not my personal feelings, because some way somehow we do editorials, right? Which of course that's how we feel as journalists.
So what have you been hearing from your people? What are their reaction about the story you've been reporting on this morning?
Okay, fine. So let's say since these reports came out, since these reports came out, because there are 2 reports, since they came out, you've been hearing within the public space, people are now requesting for the prosecution of Samuel Twe, of Nathaniel Petrie, which of course they all work in line with the 5 suspects so far. What are they saying? Some are hailing the government of Liberia. Some are saying the entire prosecution is selective justice, because certain people are put aside and certain people are not, inclusive and so forth. But what they say is what we write. What they say is what we write. We cannot, override our feelings over what they say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are they saying? They are requesting for Minister Samuel Twe, and who is the finance minister, to be prosecuted for the Central Bank of Liberia current governor, Nathaniel Petrie. Yeah, he should be also prosecuted, and some are also calling for a proper investigation, a new investigation into the 250 million that was, mopped up by
The 25 million.
25 million that was mopped up by Minister Twe. When you read the USAID report, you're gonna find out that they say that the rights procedure wasn't used to disperse those amounts. So I'm sure the calls by the citizens have been made based on what was reported within those reports.
So based what you've been hearing, in fact, any insertion of this money, do you think, majority of Liberians are disenchanted, or there are more of who are saying, well, I don't believe it?
Well, I can say that oppositions are the ones who somehow feel disenchanted. They feel that the entire prosecution of Charles Sirleaf, of Milton Weeks, of Double Haba, and Richard Walcott, they feel that it's selective. It's not fully within what was recommended by the both reports. So whether they are disenchanted by what their leaders are saying, because the Liberty Party spoke, the Secretary General of the United Party also spoke, the ANC have already said its own, and same as the LCC, the Council of Churches, they also allege that the entire prosecution of those guys are selectively done. So I'm sure they are, let's say, disenchanted, because when your leader speaks, you just don't have to say anything again.
From your perspective, you think there's a light at the end of the tunnel where the result will be in favor of Liberia?
Well, for that, what I'm hoping for is that those who are charged should be indicted, and when you hear indictment is that the state have found enough evidence on you, so you might either be guilty or not guilty. But I assume that yes, there is light at the end of the tunnel, because when these suspects are indicted and face prosecution, what will be done in court will tell whether the evidence are proven, and when these people are not found guilty, they have the space to also sue government for tarnishing their entire reputation, for disgracing them, right? But for now, I can't even say that what was done is a disgrace or not, because they have the court. So now the entire ball is in the state powers to just forward the case, see how fast this case can be fast tracked. If this government wants a good reputation, this is what they can start with.
All right, once again, just before we wrap up, leading this Bettie Mbayo, she's one of Liberia's, I can always say, funniest journalists, working for the FrontPage Africa. Brilliant. One newspaper that if you go in Liberia, you can get a hard copy. If you're in the diaspora, you can go on the internet and get information. It's great to have her here, giving us some of time today to talk on issues of national concern. Before we let go of you, there's this issue of well, journalists in Liberia or media institutions in Liberia are complaining of being attacked, and their freedom of existing is being questioned by behavior of individuals who happen to be Liberians as well. The latest case is that of Joy FM. We understand Joy FM is right now off air because of attack, launched on them by unknown men. As a journalist yourself, what is your take on this development, and what advice do you have for the government?
Well, Max, to be frank, I think that the freedom of the press is clearly being said on the lips of the government, which of course they really don't mean what they are saying. You watched the live video yesterday when I went to do the live video for Charles Sully Milton Weeks. I was from the attack, which of course I was very frank with the officer that you cannot stop me. This is what I'm paid for. This is what the public rely on me to give them such information. So when you are denying me, there should be reasons why. If I'm doing it within the purview of the police station, which is illegal, then of course I can say that I'm in error, right? But at first it was Costa. His cables and everything got damaged, and now he's back on. But how did he come back on? His transmitter room. He was denied access to his transmitter room. Why? Did Lone Star explain to him? No. And that's why I said the government of Liberia is just, merely saying we support press freedom. That's all. We support press freedom, but how are you supporting it? How? When you do not even create a safe space for a journalist to practice their career? That's it? No. Let's say the past week was Liberty. Their entire newsroom, their entire editorial place, it got damaged. Computers were stolen. By whom? We don't know. But now the Liberia National Police should be able to say these are the people who burglarized this area. So we are charging them and sending them to court. That's one. And now it's Joy FM. But now the Liberia National Police again have moot. They are moot. They are not even saying anything. They are not even saying a word. As soon as they heard that this place was also very burglarized, because that's what they can say. Burglarized. Yes, the station got burglarized. But
Yeah.
who do we know? What will CBJ say? What would they say? Punch FM. We have written like over 16, 17 articles. We even attended press conferences, asked the question, why is Punch FM not coming on? What is the government saying? They are reviewing lessons. What? Reviewing what? I'm sure they are just afraid of the word punch. That's all. I'm sure they are just afraid of the word punch because they know that when they gave punch a license, they will be punched. That's it.
Betty, yes. Let me pick on this because yesterday you were at the police station, and The moment,
No, sure I was.
the moment you came on live, I got a notification. I clicked on to watch it, and the only, I think at the time we only saw the two guys coming out, the Charles Salif and the other guys coming out through your live feeding. But then you were quickly, very quickly intercepted by the police officer who we could hear he's shouting that he was giving a direct mandate that nobody should report from there, or the report you are doing, they didn't want it. Did you by any means feel that your freedom to work as a journalist was really tampered with?
Oh, but at that moment, I was ready. I wanted to show that this is not just mere we support the media. And where there was Eugene, I think, and Eugene Fagon, right? Yeah, he was there. He was there, and he himself was first saying, she shouldn't do video. She shouldn't do videos. So I told him, I said, but you can't stop me. You be the one coming to stop me. And at that point, I already felt and still feeling that the government of Liberia is just playing with press freedom. They are merely saying it, that we support press freedom, but create a safer space. Let journalists effectively practice and safely practice. Let them feel that these stories must be reported. No cars shouldn't run into them. No backs shouldn't run into them. No phone calls should be made to them by some NSA agent threatening them. And for sure, Liberia, I can say for now, it's in a real big mess. It's in a big mess concerning press freedom. And Max, I can bluntly say that what we do is professional, and we're going to stand by that. We're going to stand by that. We're going to inform them that what we stay in classes for, to learn for those period of time, was to make sure that the public be aware of what is happening. Do you know that some people don't even know what is currently occurring concerning this entire 16 billion and let me say $16 billion? Do you know? It's because some officials feel that the media is trying to paint the government black. But are they doing the right thing? Well, I can't be the one judging them for now, but I'm going to judge them in my paper.
Finally, given the synopsis of those happenings, the refusal of Punch FM to be granted license, the 3 radio stations being, somehow, in a way trying to kick them out of business, and putting you directly in the picture of what happened yesterday, which of course shouldn't have happened. This is a public interest story. Even if that were here, video will go directly to wherever the individuals were. It will be running through our television, will be running on your image, on those images as well. What is do you have any second thought, or do you feel that because of something like this that's happening now, the media is under attack and journalists will be more afraid to do their work peacefully? I think Betty, I think Betty went frozen. Her name is Bettie Mbayo. She is one of Liberia, the FrontPage Africa. She is our studio guest on the platform today. Profile Liberia. We should have had the chief spokesman of the Liberia National Police, Mr. Moses Never Walk Alone Carter, but unfortunately he didn't appear. So we're just about ending the interview. Well, let's take this one. Liberia was not like this.
we do?
Tingani,
Sintijan. Oh, Toddy.
Senteni,
What shall we do?
Tingani,
Sintijan. Oh, Toddy.
Senteni,
What shall we do?
Tingani,
Sintijan.
what shall we do?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you so much for today. This is how we're going to end the show. Of course, Profile Liberia.
Oh, Toddy.
God's willing, we'll be back on another edition tomorrow.
Sintijan.
What shall we do?
Oh, Toddy.
Then,
What shall we do?
But however, later on this evening,
Sintijan.
we have Christian Nicofol Nelson. We'll be going into the Kroll Report,
I want to say,
the Mason morning.
Fumu Mawoko.
we know that you want
Tomorrow we'll have a supermodel
Gina want to say,
in our studio.
Ketalu Fumu Mawoko.
we know that you want
Vaja babata pamoleri pasina rarabo.
we know that you want
Vaja batumbuka
All right, so
pasina rarabo.
we know that you want
Tell them, say they are. Tell him never, tell them say you they are. Tell them say they are.
tell them, yeah, that we're here on the eating. We want to eat some too, yeah. The children of Liberia. Tell them our day, our children too.
Tell them say they are.
I want to appreciate you, all of you,
Tell them say they are.
being on the platform with us this afternoon. We do sincerely apologize that on behalf of I have them all, on behalf of Moses Carter, the chief spokesman of the Liberian National Police. We'll try and see whether we can reschedule for his appearance here, hopefully tomorrow. But from my end on this time, right here, broadcasting live from the United Kingdom. My name is Max Kpakio. Until later on, then when I shall be back on the print review. Thank you very much. Have a very, very good time. God bless you. And as usual, God bless the continent of Africa. And above all else, and God bless Mama Liberia. Continue to pray for your country. Yeah.
Send them